Lease types can be complex and confusing. Can you provide an overview of the main lease types encountered in the industrial market, such as gross, modified gross, triple net, etc.? What are key differences between them, and how do they impact the tenant's responsibilities and expenses?
So you have rent. Everyone knows rent. And then what's unique to commercial real estate is that the tenants pay property tax, insurance, and maintenance for the project as if they own it. And so for tenants at first, they can have a heartburn thinking, hey, I've rented an apartment in college. I just paid the rent. When the dishwasher didn't work, I called the landlord. Where in commercial, all of that is now the responsibility of the tenant, with the idea that the tenant is the one that's utilizing the property, that gains the benefit of having the use of it. And so all the different types of leases just custom tailor expenses towards the kind of property, and then whether it's single tenant or multi-tenant. And so what is most common today, and is the trend the industry is going, is the triple net lease, where you pay one figure for rent, and then separate from rent, you pay the property tax bill almost directly to the tax assessor. You pay the insurance bill, and then for CAM, a single tenant building, you just maintain it. And if you have an institutional landlord, they might maintain it, and you reimburse them for that expense. Where if it's a multi-tenant building, where you have 10 buildings on one piece of land, then the landlord's going to have one landscaper or one asphalt company or one lighting company do all of the work for all 10 buildings, and then you are billed back your proportionate share for your building, the size of it divided by all the buildings and the total square footage for the project. And so any way that you deviate from that just means that either CAM is included in rent, CAM and insurance is included in rent. Those are modified gross leases. And then where CAM, insurance, and property taxes are included in rent, that's a gross lease. And so who is doing gross leases now are just the long-held, it's almost like the grandma and grandpas, where their property tax is so low that they can include property tax, insurance, and maintenance, and maybe it's like a 5 to 8 cents, and they just make their rent 5 to 8 cents higher. Where when it's institutional landlord and the property was purchased recently, it can be 25, 35, 45 cents per foot per month. I think the real reason that the industry is trending towards triple net is if you are an institutional owner, you're buying and selling properties regularly, and the value of those properties are based on the pure net operating income. And so to do the math on that, you need to take the gross rents and you need to subtract property tax, insurance, and maintenance. And so when you have a triple net lease, all of that is already subtracted, so you can just look at what is the rent and know that you have a NOI figure that you can use for your valuation. And then for some investment properties that are net lease properties that some people will buy across the country that are on a triple net lease, there's even nuance in the triple net game. So there's net leases, there's triple net leases, and then there's absolute net leases, which mean the difference is really just the roof, the exterior walls and load-bearing walls and the foundation. In triple net leases, the landlord is still responsible for that. Where in an absolute net lease, there's like absolutely no pass-through expenses that go to the landlord.